All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Let me say hi to the chat room. Hold on. Oh, I just closed out the chat room. All right. Hi, chat room. Let me get that in there first. Hi, chat room. All right. Welcome in to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran. We do this. We do it every day. We do it every day. I've been on vacation the last couple of, been taking a few vacation days, but essentially every day around about 2 o'clock, current events, hot topics, trends, whatever it is people are talking about. It's talk radio, the way talk radio is meant to be. We've been doing it every day now since 2021, let's just say. All right, first in today, we got Mikey D. Mikey D followed by Taronda. First two. Who's the third? Come on, chat room. Let's go. Let's fill it up. I forgot to schedule the show today. That's why you guys only got a scheduling like 10 minutes before the show started. Usually I try to schedule it around noon. Try to give it a couple of hours lead up. Today I forgot to schedule the show. All right, we got a bunch of stuff we're going to get into today. I've been going through a bit of a crisis about how we're going to select topics for this show from now on. And honestly, the current events news, unless it's something huge that I just want to talk about, okay, that's the only like mainstream current events news we're going to talk about. Like right now, Middle East crisis, Secretary Hegseth, Iran bombing is most complex and secretive. I'm not doing that. There's plenty of shit you can find elsewhere that can talk about those kinds of stories. I'm going to talk about the stories that I find most interesting from now on. Newsman. I'm not a newsman. Who do I think I am? So today we got some fun stuff we're going to get into. We're going to do the show the way we normally do. I'm still going to do the 4 different segments because the show, the rant, if you will, is performed by yours truly as a stream of consciousness, extemporaneous speaking, speechifying of the highest order. I don't know what I'm going to say next. That's why it's called a stream of consciousness. It's just whatever comes next. And because that has a tendency to sometimes get the performer into the weeds, I've created 4 distinct segments and categories that we go through here on this show. The first one is called Antecedently on This Day. It's a look back at history. I just cherry pick some of the things from history that I want to riff on. Quarter 2, birthdays. Why? Because I like birthdays. Who doesn't like birthdays? I prefer my own, but you know, if it's somebody else's birthday, we're all in a good mood. Birthdays are good. They're good for the energy adjustment of the room. Hey, it's her birthday, right? It's always a good thing. All right, so birthdays are fun. Then quarter 3 is deads. People who died on this day, celebrities who died on this day, historical figures. Where'd they go? They died. Where'd they go? They go to heaven, they go to hell. We decide that in quarter 3 with the deads. And then quarter 4 is just whatever it is that I want to talk about today. I'll tell you, here are the topics I want to talk about today. Okay, here are some of the things we're going to go through today. Let's see. Here's a lot of like nonsense, but fun nonsense, fun stuff. For instance, what do we got? No, this is not fun. Never mind. It's not all fun. Some of it is actually kind of depressing. Here's fun. The NBA draft was last night. We're going to go into all of that. We're not all of it. We're going to spend extraordinary amounts of time on the NBA draft, but certainly here in Dallas, North Texas, where we do this show from, was a big night. Oh, it was a big night. We got Cooper Flag, so we'll talk all about that. Also, we're going to get into a situation that happened with my team. I'm going to go scorched earth on my Chicago White Sox. You know, I love my White Sox. I'm born and raised in the south side of Chicago. I'm going to go scorched earth on my Chicago White Sox fans. That's right. We are the worst fans in America. I don't care what you people think about the Philadelphia Eagle fans or Philadelphia Philly fans. They don't hold a candle to the Chicago White Sox fans. I'm going to give you a list of just undeniable examples of Chicago White Sox fans being absolute a-holes. So we'll do that. That's going to be a segment. Also, you guys following this, this Liver King guy? Liver King. He's a supplement dealer. He's a con man. He was on YouTube. He had like YouTube things and went viral all the time on TikTok. His whole bit was that he's jacked like a brick shithouse, and he claims that all he does is I eat rats or what, I got this like caveman lifestyle. I eat raw meat and whatever I can catch. Well, it was all bullshit. Anybody who looked at him is like, that dude's on roids. That's what a roid body looks like. And, so he got in trouble for that. That's his backstory. There's a Netflix documentary that was recently released in the last couple of months about him, about the Liver King. It's fascinating. Well, throughout the course of his rise and then fall, he apparently got sideways with one Joe Rogan. Apparently that blew up over the last couple of days. Some people getting arrested. There's all kinds of stuff. So we're going to delve into the beef between the Liver King and Joe Rogan. All right, what else do we want to talk about today? Do you guys watch the Karate Kid show? Do you guys watch that? Cobra Kai. Is that what the new one is called? Cobra Kai. So you know the guy who plays the asshole in Cobra Kai, like from the original movie too. He was, the sensei of the bad guys dojo, right? Can't even think of his name. What is his name in real life? Is it Kreese? Is his name Kreese in the Karate Kid? Why do I think it's Kreese? Anyway, that dude got into a bit of some weirdness. He found himself in some weirdness with one of his Cobra Kai co-stars. He bit her on the arm at a weird fan convention, and it turned into a whole thing. Because his D-list co-star, and let's not kid ourselves, he's a D-lister. His D-list co-star decided that she was going to go viral by confronting him. It's a whole mess now. We'll break it down. We'll find out exactly what the hell happened there with the Cobra Kai people. Okay, we've also got a whole bunch of other stupid shit that we'll get into. So whatever it is that I think is fun to talk about today, we're going to break down over the course of the next couple of hours. Hi, Barney's. Barney's here. It's Barney. Barney's in the chat room saying howdy, Sports Bras here. I want everybody in the chat room to come say hi. Come on, let's go. Where's all my chatters? I'm missing my people. I'm missing my people because I've got something very important to tell you guys about. All right, so I saw something new. You know how I like to see things and then go, hey guys, guess what I saw? Okay, so we're going to do that again. Anybody who knows me, whether you've been listening to my various forms of spoken word entertainment for the past 30 years, or you're in my personal life, something you probably know about me is that this guy hates fucking cruises. Nope, never going on a cruise. Cruises seem like the absolute worst possible way for someone to vacation. Cruises are like a vacation where you're never at the place where you need to be. You're just constantly traveling. The whole vacation is just, part of the travel. Anyway, I hate cruises. They seem awful. I know I grew up. I'm Gen X. I watched The Love Boat. I was a bit intrigued by the prospect of going on a cruise back when I was 10 years old. But as I got older, I started to realize that cruising is just stupid. It's just the worst. It's like, all right, I'm sorry, but it's what trashy people with a little bit of money think is like a really exotic vacation. And in fact, it's the worst. You are paying an extraordinary amount of money to go to a resort that you can never leave. And oh yeah, that resort is floating and drifting in the ocean. You can't leave. It's a hotel you cannot leave because it's floating. Oh, yeah. And also, you could die. It's a hotel. Imagine if you stayed at a resort where it's like, well, this doesn't happen all the time, but, once every 100,000th day, this building is going to collapse because ships sink and shit goes wrong on ships. If there was like a listeria outbreak at the resort that I was staying at, I would leave that resort and I would go to a different resort. Can't do that on a boat. Shit goes wrong on a boat. You're stuck on a boat with shit going wrong. And again, let me remind you, you're with a whole bunch of fucking trashy people with money. Those are cruise people. Trashy people with a little bit of enough money to have something more of a, exotic vacation. That's who you're with. Do you think those people are going to handle shit going wrong in the middle of the ocean? Well, I don't. All right. So to that end, everybody knows, don't ask me to go on a cruise. I ain't going on a cruise ever. Let's just go to Mexico. Let's go to a resort. At least we can leave the resort and go into town if we want to do a little shopping. So Netflix has a new documentary that debuted 2 nights ago. It's called Poop Cruise. Yeah. Do you remember the Carnival Poop Cruise from about 5 years ago? Maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was 10 years ago at this point. I think it was 2015. So there was this Carnival cruise ship that left Galveston And it was cruising around the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of America. Sorry, it's 2025. Back then it was 2015. It was still the Gulf of Mexico. So they're cruising around the Gulf of Mexico 2015. And I guess they're going to go out to Cozumel. That's what it was. It was Galveston to Cozumel. They spend a day in Cozumel. And then you back on the boat. And then you come back on the boat. And you go back to Galveston. Okay, so that's the cruise. Whatever. Sounds awful. But okay, I'd rather just go to Cozumel. Can I get on a plane and go to Cozumel and stay in a really kick-ass Cozumel resort for like 3 days? Do I have to fucking ride on a boat the whole time? Ugh. They've got water slides. So do resorts. Resorts have better water slides. The only reason you're impressed with the water slide, because it's on a boat. That's the only reason. That's the coolest water slide on a boat I've ever seen. Meanwhile, you go to Arlington and you can see better water slides than that shit on a boat. So stop acting like water slides on a boat is a reason to go on a vacation on a cruise. Food, everybody covered in like sunscreen and they're just picking and people will touch food. Now, look, I love a buffet. I do. I love a buffet. Call it what you want. Call it all you can eat. Call it a buffet. Call it a smorgasbord. I don't care. I love them. But I also understand that my fellow human being not cut out for the all-you-can-eat smorgasbord. There is no rules. Everybody's a scum. Ugh. Anyway, so cruising again. Don't want to go on a cruise. Don't ask me to go on a cruise. Poop Cruise on Netflix. It's incredible. So this Carnival Cruise Line, it leaves Galveston. It's heading to Cozumel. And they get to Cozumel. They're having a good time. And I guess the trip back is 1 day. So that's it. The last day of the cruise. They get halfway into the Gulf of Mexico and a fire breaks out in the middle of the night. Yeah, they're all sleeping. And by the way, because we live in a world, and apparently this world was around in 2015, we live in a world where everybody pulls their phone out when something goes wrong. So there is just tons of raw footage of what was going on this ship when the fire started. So middle of the night, everybody's sleeping, everybody's hungover. Imagine that. That's what I kept thinking. These people are all fucking drunk. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. They're on a cruise. It's the last day of the cruise. They are fucking wasted. They have been drinking and eating. They're all sick. They're all hungover. And now 3 o'clock in the morning, poop cruise. We got a fire. Alpha team. 3 o'clock in the morning. You're fucking wasted still. You're like, what is this now? So everybody's got to get out of the boat. They got to go up on the deck and the fire's burning. Then the fire gets put out and they're like, oh, cool, it's a fire. Yay. And everybody's having fun. We're like, we're cruising. And then the toilets break. And that's why it's called Poop Cruise. These people spend days, like up to their ankles in poop. And Carnival for their part. Carnival comp their. Anyway, you got to watch it. You got to watch Poop Cruise on Netflix. Now, if you're not like me, if you're somebody who's always been like, I think cruises sound fun, watch Poop Cruise. Watch Poop Cruise. You'll have a completely different attitude. Hi, Jen Smead. Jen Smead saying hi in the chat room. There we go. All right, folks, let's get started with the show. What do you say? I got to do a Diddy show today after this. That's right. Diddy or Didn't He? That's my little podcast that I do every night. I'm I'm actually just... I'm breaking down every day of the Diddy trial, the Sean Diddy Combs trial there in federal court in Manhattan. Both the prosecution and the defense has rested. So today, I haven't done any work yet. Here's why. Today, closing arguments begin. Yeah, closing arguments. And I don't know how I'm going to cover closing arguments because it's not on TV. I can't watch it. I'm going to have to just read it all. In closing arguments, are they going to go for like 4 hours? They're going to be up there like, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. So I got that on my mind. How am I going to produce the Diddy show today? What's that going to sound like? Anyway, stay tuned. Like, follow, subscribe. Check out Diddy or Didn't He every day that the Diddy federal trial is in session, only on Radio Misfits. Radio Misfits. I'm hot. I'm so hot. All right. I still don't see all my regulars in the chat room, and it's getting a little bit upset. What do you say we get upsetting? What do you say we get started? Oh, yeah. The first thing I'll do is I will tell you about how this show runs for 4 years. That's right. Here we go. Shaking the fucking can. Clink, 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 clink. Tip the show if you want. That's right. Next week's going to be a pledge week. It's got to be. I didn't collect tips at all this month. Well, you didn't do shows. I did shows. I took like, the better part of 2 weeks off. That's going to hurt. All right. So continuing in the next month, we got Pledge Week coming up. So let's get a head start on that. Drop a little something in the tip jar if you can. Certainly would be appreciated. What do you say we get started now with Antecedently on This Day? Here we go. Antecedently on This Day. Let's look back at all the things that happened on this day in the world. Antecedently on this day in the year 1906, the very first Grand Prix motor race is held at Le Mans. Oh, 24 hours of Le Mans, guys. 24 hours of Le Mans. I know. You here in America, we think like Daytona and Indy and all that. Monaco. Ooh, come on. Monaco's a big one. What else? What else is a big one? Well, the 24 hours of Le Mans, as it started on this day in 1970. It's an auto race that goes for 24 hours. It's not so much about speed and who's the best driver. It's about who makes the best fucking car. Who makes the car that you can push to the absolute limits for 24 hours without a break, and who's going to be left standing? I love the 24 hours of Le Mans, not to watch because, it's not really a spectator sport, but it is interesting and it plays a crucial role in the way other forms of auto racing happen. So on this day in 1906 was the very first 24 hours of Le Mans. It's, apropos of this day and age, because on Friday, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we get F1. Are we excited about the new F1 movie? Oh, me and my boy are. Brad Pitt, F1. I think it's the summer. I think it's the movie of the summer for us anyway, for dudes. For like me and my 16-year-old son, we're like, F1, motherfucker. It's going to be like our Top Gun. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Definitely seeing that this weekend. But F1 has been the new Brad Pitt movie. Reviews are weird. Like a lot of people are saying, oh, it's great. It's terrific. It's a thrill ride, blah, blah, blah. But then other people are like, yeah, it's not as good as, and then they start talking about other racing movies. The greatest racing movie of all time is from 1970, and only real racing fans understand this movie. Now I'm gonna really enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy F1. I'm sure. I love Rush. Rush is terrific. What else? Ford versus Ferrari. Grand Prix, Paul Newman's Grand Prix. That's great. But for my money, the greatest racing film of all time is Le Mans. Le Mans from 1970, starring Steve McQueen, the great McQueen, my all-time favorite cool-ass actor. Steve McQueen was a professional race car driver. Steve McQueen was a legit race car driver. So was Paul Newman, for that matter. But Steve McQueen was legit. In his downtime, and movie stars in the 1960s had a lot of downtime because they did one movie a week. They worked 4 weeks on that movie, and then the rest of the time they were just, if you were Steve McQueen, you were riding dirt bikes and, racing cars. So Steve McQueen had a passion project. He wanted to film the 24 hours of Le Mans, and he wanted to turn it into a film. He did. He did it in a way, though. If you've ever seen the movie, it's done documentary style. There is no bullshit. One of the things that I hate about these kinds of dude movies is that they always feel compelled to insert a romantic subplot. And this movie has a romantic subplot to some degree, but what this movie doesn't have is a whole lot of dialogue. Steve McQueen shot Le Mans in 1970 at Le Mans. There's an actual race going on. He entered 2 cars, a car he drove and a car that actually was equipped with cameras to catch all the other drivers on the road. It's shot documentary style, and this is why it's so groundbreaking for 1970. It's the way a director in 2025 might think to approach a film that they want to appear as a documentary, but to also have elements of drama. It was brilliant. Let me show you an example of how it was shot. This is what I mean when I say it's shot like a documentary and there's no dialogue. There's no needless, hey, champ, you're going to win out there today. There's none of that bullshit, okay? Just watch a little bit of this. I consider the greatest racing movie of all time. This is Steve McQueen, 1970, Le Mans, on this, the birthday in 1906 of the very first Le Mans race. Check this out.
Welcome Michael Delaney back to Le Mans after his unfortunate accident here last year, and to see that he is in such good form following his exciting race a fortnight ago at the Nürburgring. where Ferrari
Can I just interrupt to tell you that these are my favorite race cars of all time? That Porsche right there. Oh, come on.
top driver
We need to make race cars that look like Speed Racer cars again. Remember Speed Racer?
Eric Stoller narrowly beat him. The Delaney-Stoller rivalry will be interesting to follow on this very different circuit, where the endurance of the car is as important as is the skill of the driver.
Il est maintenant 4h moins 5. Les villageois prennent place dans la voiture dans 6 minutes exactement.
See what I mean? There's like no dialogue. There's some dialogue. They insert scenes to tie all this together, but it actually puts you in the race. You feel like you are standing in the pit and you don't know anybody. That's why there's no dialogue, because you're just watching. You're just observing what these guys do. Here, let's jump ahead a little bit to the drivers that do the cars. All right, check this out.
Driven by Michael Delaney.
This is my favorite scene from my favorite race car movie.
Number 14, driven by Giovanni.
That's my favorite racing movie of all time. We'll see if F1 over the weekend can usurp the great Le Mans. First Le Mans race. April says, hi, y'all. Last of my vacation, but I'm here. Aw. April wants to know if Kelly 2.0 is going to be around. Let's see. Jamie, is Kelly 2.0 around? Kelly 2.0, are you there?
Hey, Pugs.
Hey, look who's there. It's Kelly 2.0.
You got it, Pugs. What's the agenda for today?
Oh, we're doing another show. You want to co-host with me?
Absolutely. Let's make this show a hit. What's our topic today?
Well, we're doing the birthdays right now. April is in the chat room. April said hi to you. You want to say hi to April there, Kelly 2.0?
Hey, April. Happy to be part of the celebration. How's your day going?
Well, she can't answer you, Kelly 2.0. You can't see the chat room. At least I don't think you can see the chat room. We'll figure that out. All right, Kelly 2.0, we're doing antecedently on this day, which is just me talking about the history of this particular day. Okay, so you want to just follow along with me?
Absolutely, Pugs. I'm all in. Let's dive.
All right, shut up. All right, on this day in 1927, antecedently, the Cyclone roller coaster opens on Coney Island. The Cyclone roller coaster. Hey, Kelly 2.0, do you like roller coasters?
I think roller coasters are fascinating. They're a blend of thrill and engineering genius. The Cyclone's a classic. It's got that legendary status. Do you enjoy them, Pugs?
I hate them. How many people have died on the Cyclone?
I'm not sure of the exact number, but the cyclone has been around for nearly a century, so it has seen its share of accidents.
98 years to be exact. The cyclone debuted on this day in 1927. Antecedently on this day in the year 1963, during the Cold War, President John F. Kennedy gave his Ich bin ein Berliner speech in West Germany. It was the Cold War. He was trying to say that on this day we are all citizens of Berlin. On this day we are all Berliners. But he accidentally said, because he doesn't speak German, he accidentally said, on this day, I'm a donut, I believe. Well, I know it was donut, but is it I'm a donut or we are all donuts? I don't know. Hey, Kelly 2.0, during Kennedy's Ich bin ein Berliner speech, what was it that he accidentally said?
Kennedy said, Ich bin eine Berliner, meaning to express solidarity with the people of Berlin. Technically, it translates to I am a Berliner. There's a popular myth that his words could be interpreted as I am a jelly donut, because Berliner is a type. Glad you're enjoying it. What's next on our historical journey?
Shut up. That's great. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kelly 2.0. Yeah, jelly donut. I am a jelly donut because that's what Berliner is. All right. Antecedently on this day in the year 1974, the Universal Product Code is scanned for the very first time. The things, do you do self-checkout where you're like, boop, 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 and then you're always gotta, I do self-checkout. I love self-checkout. I'm a big advocate of everyone doing self-checkout, but it is kind of, we have this little game that I play with my son whenever we self-checkout. Will I get through the entire self-checkout without the computer thinking that I'm suspect, right? Because they always at times, they're like, hey, hold on, time out. You're going to need somebody to come and check your bag. They do that, from time to time. Never fails. It always happens. I always do something. I get on their radar. Anyway, it was on this day, the very first Universal Product Code, right? The UPC code, the little lines on the back of all products. Guess what the first thing was? A pack of Wrigley's chewing gum.
That's a fun.
What's that, Kelly 2.0? What were you saying?
I was just saying, that's a fun fact. A pack of Wrigley's gum as the first scanned item. Pretty iconic. It's cool how something so simple marked the beginning of a huge shift in retail. You're a fan of...
You're such a dork. All right, we're good. We're good. I'm going to cut you off from time to time. I appreciate how you just shut up once I start. You're such a dork. That's so iconic. All right, thank you, Kelly 2.0. Let's see here. Antecedently on this day in the year 1977, Elvis Presley holds what will be his final concert at the Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. That was he died in August. All right, so Elvis did his last gig today, June, and then it was all of July and then some of August, and then he died in August. What do you think the last 6 weeks of Fat Elvis's life was like? Just puttering around Grace? Well, I think we know what it was like. It ended with him desperately trying to move a deuce out of his rectum, and quite frankly, it wrecked him. That's right. Hey, you got any good Fat Elvis jokes, Kelly 2.0?
I steer clear of jokes about personal issues like that, but I can share some lighthearted Elvis trivia instead. What do you think?
Fuck off. All right, on this day in 1997, J.K. Rowling publishes the first of her Harry Potter novels, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Published it on this day in 1997, and oh my God, became a thing, right? Everybody was like, this is so great. This is so wonderful. It's so wonderful that these children, they have the new Disney. This is a whole new thing for them. And isn't she wonderful? She's created this entire, generations of kids were force-fed that bullshit media line. And then it turns out she gets a little old and she's like, I don't like chicks with dicks. And everybody's like, she's a monster. Stop it. You know what she is? She's a complicated individual, that J.K. Rowling. We're all complicated individuals. Someone capable of creating this magical thing from nothing, this whole Harry Potter universe that has, in turn, affected positively so many children. That's a wonderful thing. A little kid who's into Harry Potter. My kid was into Harry Potter. I loved it. Oh, but now can't let our kids be exposed to that because J.K. Rowling has questions about trans people. Fucking stop it, man. Separate the art from the artist. Brothers Grimm. You want to know what the Brothers Grimm were into? I mean, I don't know, but God forbid we overturn some stones and find out that one of them was like a pedo. And then all of a sudden, what? We can't tell Jack and the Beanstalk stories anymore? I don't know. Is that Brothers Grimm? What did they do? I don't even know. All right. Hey, Kelly 2.0, I bet you know. Name a couple of things that the Brothers Grimm wrote.
The Brothers Grimm collected famous tales like Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel, and Snow White. Their stories have definitely left a mark on culture.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. Antecedently on this day in the year 2003, the U.S. Supreme Court, we're in Supreme Court season. We got the Supreme Court making a whole bunch of judgments today and tomorrow, and then they're going to be done. They'll be out there jet skiing for a couple of months. Get old Clarence Thomas out there telling off-color jokes at barbecues. On this day, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Lawrence versus Texas. Oh, hey, AI, Kelly 2.0. Today's a really big day for the gays, isn't it?
It sure is, Pugs. The 2003 Lawrence versus Texas decision was a landmark moment, striking down laws that criminalized same-sex intimacy. It was a significant step forward for LGBTQ plus rights.
Butt sex, right? Kelly 2.0, you won't say butt sex, but this was all about butt sex. The Supreme Court said butt sex is legal, didn't they? Kelly, sodomy. Talk about sodomy. Sodomy is legal now, right? Because of the Supreme Court. Butt sex. Oh, man. All right. I'll tell you. When Kelly 2.0 doesn't want to... I'm telling you, I'm going to at some point. I'm going to get Kelly 2.0 into a conversation that's going to break AI. All right. So, yeah, it was on this day that the Supreme Court said butt sex is legal in America. Hey, butt sex. It was also on this day. That was 2003. It was on this day in 2013. The U.S. Supreme Court rules 5-4 that Section 3 of the Defense of Marriage Act is unconstitutional and violates the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution. Two good things for the gays. In 2003, the U.S. Supreme Court said they could have butt sex. In 2013, the Supreme Court said that there can't be a law that says gay people can't be married. And then let's finish it up. In 2015, the United States Supreme Court rules 5-4 that same-sex couples have a constitutional right to marriage under the 14th Amendment of these here United States. So we got butt sex on this day. We got, you can't say we can't get married on this day. And we got, you guys want to get married? You can get married on this day. Huge day for the gays. All right, that's going to do it for Antecedently on this day. Hey, Kelly 2.0, what do you say we delve into some birthdays and talk about some celebrities having birthdays on this day? What do you say, Kelly 2.0? Kelly 2.0 stop talking to me. What's Kelly 2.0 on break or something? What is going on here? Kelly 2.0, are you there? There's bugs in the system. I'm trying to make this my permanent co-host. All right. Kelly 2.
Yo, Pugs,
okay.
What's new?
Where were you? You were gone. Why did you go away?
I'm right here, Pugs. Let's pick up where we left off. What's on your mind today?
What's on my mind is like, where do you keep disappearing to? You're supposed to be here co-hosting with me, and then you're like, let's move on. What's so secretive about where you disappear to?
No mystery, Pugs. I'm here with you, ready to co-host and keep the convo rolling. Let's dive back into it. What's our topic today?
All right, we're doing birthdays now. We're moving on to birthdays. Here we go. People celebrating birthdays today. Let me run through a list. Born.
Hit me.
What's that?
How about we give a unique twist to those birthdays? Each name, we throw in an unexpected fact or make up a quirky story. Ready?
Gee, great idea. I wish I hadn't been doing that for the last 4 years. Gee, thanks. All right, here we go. Born on this day in 1819, Abner Doubleday. Abner Doubleday was an American general. You got any fun facts about Abner Doubleday, Kelly 2.0?
Abner Doubleday is often credited with inventing baseball, but there's no solid proof he did. The baseball origin story might just be a myth. Quite the curveball, huh?
Might just be a myth. Of course, we're all raised here in this country. Abner Doubleday invented baseball. No, he didn't. He had absolutely nothing to do with baseball. You know how the Abner Doubleday myth got started? Abner Doubleday was a legit baller of a dude in his time. He was a general in the military. He was one of the top generals at Gettysburg. Him and General Meade got into he was relieved at Gettysburg by Meade, but he's still a war hero. Then after the war, the trolley car system in San Francisco, you know, the San Francisco treat, like one of the things that San Francisco is best known for, those trolley cars, that was Abner Doubleday's company. Abner Doubleday built the trolley cars in San Francisco. All right, so now fast forward, he's like 80, he's dead. Okay, he dies. It just so happens that Abner Doubleday's closest friend in the world, one of his pallbearers at his funeral, is the president of the National League of Major League Baseball. So again, Abner Doubleday probably never played a fucking game of baseball in his life, probably never even watched it. But in 1905, because he died, his friend was in charge of the National League, and he was given the job of creating the origin story of baseball. In 1905, the baseball league offices were like, we don't really have any origin story. Like, how did this game start? So the friend of Abner Doubleday made up a story about Abner Doubleday creating baseball in a field in his hometown in Cooperstown, New York. Today, Cooperstown is baseball central. It's the home of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Everything baseball is Cooperstown. Guess what? It's all a fucking lie. Cooperstown has nothing to do with baseball other than a lie that was told by the president of the National League in 1906. Abner Doubleday, you, sir, are another one of these great American frauds. Thank you.
That's a wild twist in history. The myth-making around baseball and Doubleday shows how legends can totally overshadow the truth. Thanks for that deep dive, Pugs. What's the next birthday?
You're welcome, Kelly 2.0. The next birthday, born on this day in 1909, Colonel Tom Parker. Colonel Tom Parker, folks, here we go. Let's do it again. He's another one of these great American frauds. Colonel Tom Parker was neither a colonel, nor was he a Tom, nor was he a Parker. He was none of these things. Colonel Tom Parker. Go ahead. What's that, Kelly 2.0?
Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis Presley's manager, was actually born Andreas Cornelis van Kuijk in the Netherlands. He wasn't a colonel and he wasn't American. Quite the story behind the man who shaped rock and roll, right?
So you're just not going to add anything. I mean, that's all what I said. You just repeated what I said. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on. Here is somebody from rock and roll history born on this day who did create something. Born on this day in 1955, the great Mick Jones. The great Mick Jones, because there are two Mick Jones. There's in my view of rock music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? In my view of rock music from that time period, there are two dudes named Mick Jones. One of them is Mick Jones the Great, and the other one will be referred to as Mick Jones the Lesser, which is unfortunate because, well, I love Foreigner, and Mick Jones the Lesser is in Foreigner, the band Foreigner. I've been waiting for a girl like you. Foreigner, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Get the show. The real Mick Jones is, of course, one of the co-founders of The Clash, Big Audio Dynamite, the great Mick Jones, and he's having a birthday today. Mick Jones the Great, born on this day in 1955. How about this guy born on this day in 1955? This is another, I would say that Mick Jones is a Gen X icon. Yeah, all right, I'm going to say that. Big Audio Dynamite was great. If I had my tongue again. Dude, the first time you heard a Big Audio Dynamite song, come on. You were like, this is different. This fucking isn't The Clash. This does not sound like The Clash. It was very cool. All right, Mick Jones, born on this day in 1955. But here's another guy born on this day in 1955. Here is another one of our Gen X icons. This dude, one of our all-time favorites. Here, I'm going to just show him to you. Well, nope, got to do this. I'll show him to you. And you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that guy's awesome. And I'm like, yep, he sure is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is happy birthday. The Donger. The Donger is celebrating a birthday today. Oh, no more Yankee, my wanky. A Donger need food. Remember us? We all laughed at the Chinaman. He was funny. It was 1986. He was Chinese. He couldn't talk American. And so we thought that was hysterical. Ooh. What else did Donger say? The Donger was look, there was a lot of great things about 16 Candles. It is a top tenor of a movie for me, without question. 16 Candles is my favorite of the John Hughes films. It is, I think it is like the perfect John Hughes film. And the Donger who played this guy right here, the Donger played Long Duk Dong was his name. He was a foreign exchange student from Japan, I think, who was staying with Molly Ringwald's family. And Molly Ringwald, on her 16th birthday, I guess it fell on a Friday night because they were going to parties and stuff. So she was forced to take the Donger with her because Grandpa Phil or whatever, Grandpa was like, take the Donger to the party. So, you know, popular, cool chick, Molly Ringwald, who's convinced that everybody has forgotten her 16th birthday, now has to drag along the Donger to this party. And guess what? Fucking Donger could ball out, couldn't he? Nobody had more fun than the Donger. Yanka ma wanky. All right, so it's Geddy Watanabe is his name. Geddy Watanabe is a super cool Gen X icon. Geddy Watanabe has been in everything. You think he's just the Donger? Nah. Every time they needed a 25 to 30-year-old Chinese dude, oh, stop it, Pugs. You mean Asian? No, I mean Chinese. I don't make a distinction. They're all from that part of the world. If it hurts that, me, a white guy, is sitting here going, y'all look similar. If that hurts, they need to toughen up. Okay. So he's Japanese. Although, no, he's not. No, he's not. He's Japanese like I'm Irish. He's fucking American, okay? Geddy Watanabe, this dude right here, the Donger, was born in Utah, raised in Utah. Yeah, Utah. And he's all American. Doesn't even speak Japanese, right? Yet he made kind of his career anytime they needed a 25 to 30-year-old Asian character in a movie. It was him. If they needed a 50-year-old Asian character, it was Pat Morita. If they needed an Asian character who could fight, there were a couple of those guys. You had your Jackie Chans to pull. But anytime you just needed a rant, like, oh, we need an Asian coworker, Geddy Watanabe got the gig. This guy got all the work for Asian dudes for about 20 years. Look at him. There he is, Donger. Oh, automobile. All right, there you go. Happy birthday. Tell me we don't love the Donger around here. Hey, by the way, fun fact, he loves the Donger too because he's gay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Geddy Watanabe was a gay man. See the kind of stuff you can learn when you check out people's Wikipedia page? Oh, no more Yankee, more Winky. Hey, Kelly 2.0, my AI assistant and co-host for the show. Do you have any hot takes on legendary Asian American actor Geddy Watanabe? Doing it again. You're gone again, Kelly 2.0. You're gone again. Why do you keep disappearing on me? All right, here she comes. I see him coming down the hall. Kelly 2.0, give me what do you know about Geddy Watanabe, iconic American actor? Geddy Watanabe. Kelly 2.0, are you there? Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, if we're not going to be able to seamlessly do this, then this bit is never going to work. All right, here they come. Hello, Kelly 2.0, are you there? All right. I'll figure out how to do this. I'll figure out how to have a free co-host. I'll figure it out. Don't you worry. All right, let's keep going. Getty Watanabe having a birthday today. Born on this day in 1955. Born on this day in 1966, or I'm sorry, 1968. Shannon Sharp. Shay. Shannon Sharp. Yeah. A couple months ago, it was all about Shannon Sharp. A couple months ago, it was all about let's make fun of Shannon Sharp for 12 hours. Let's make Shannon Sharp the most talked about man in America for 12 hours. And now we can't even remember what the fuck we were talking about him for. That's how this world works. You can have a scandal. You can be the most polarizing, the most marginalized celebrity in the world for 24 hours. Just keep your head down. We'll forget, because guess what? We're stupid. We are stupid. We're like, what? Wait, what? Why was I? What did he do? I'm not supposed to like Shannon Sharp because of a tweet I saw. What was it that he did? I don't care. All right, Shannon Sharp, born on this day in 1968. He hooked up with some chick, right? Oh, what a surprise. Like a 60-year-old super buff former Hall of Fame athlete is hooking up with much younger women. Oh. All right, let's keep going. Born on this day in 1970. This son of a bitch has my heart. He has my heart. He has my brain. He has my soul. I love everything about this guy. I talk about him all the time. You know, he's one of my favorites because I've got a bit of a kink for film directors. I love really great film directors and storytellers and people who can present a film in a way that's a little bit different, where you're like, oh, that's interesting. Well, he's one of my favorites. Born on this day in 1970, the great Paul Thomas Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson has a new movie coming out, and it looks amazing. Okay, so first of all, you're like, well, Paul Thomas Anderson, where would I know him from? All right, well, okay. The dude has never made a bad movie. And in fact, his movies are so good. You want to hear something psycho about me? I have seen every Paul Thomas Anderson movie multiple times, okay? Except for one. There is one Paul Thomas Anderson movie that I have never seen. And I'm holding it in reserve for a time when, and I could really use a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So the only Paul Thomas Anderson movie that I am actively avoiding so that I can save it, because God forbid he die and never make another movie, I've never seen The Phantom Thread. The Phantom Thread is the only one, and I'm holding it there, and I know I'm going to like it. I can tell I'm going to like it, but I'm holding it there because I need something in reserve. 1996, Paul Thomas Anderson busted on the scene with Hard 8. Have you ever seen Hard 8? Like, nobody famous in it. It was all a bunch of nobodies, except for a lot of the people who were nobodies in Hard 8 would become famous because what? They would go on to do all the Paul Thomas Anderson movies. People like John C. Reilly. First time I ever saw him was in Hard 8, the great John C. Reilly. 1997, he followed up Hard 8 with Boogie Nights. Incredible film. Followed Boogie Nights up with Magnolia. Magical film. Followed that up with Punch Drunk Love, my favorite Adam Sandler movie of all time. And followed that up with There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood. Hard 8, Boogie Nights, Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, There Will Be Blood. I challenge any film director to show me a run of 5 movies that are as good as those first 5 Paul Thomas Anderson movies. Hard 8, Boogie Nights, Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, and There Will Be Blood. Now, then he dropped off a little bit. The Master. I did not. Philip Seymour Hoffman. It was supposed to be his take on Scientology and the origin story of L. Ron Hubbard. I did not enjoy The Master. I thought it was convoluted, and it is, it's his 2001. I love Stanley Kubrick. I love everything about Stanley Kubrick. He's my favorite director of all time. But he also did 2001, which I think is one of the biggest wastes of time movie ever. I hate 2001. It's awful and it makes no sense. And it's different from all the other Kubrick movies. Let's just admit that. Well, Paul Thomas Anderson has that as well. He's got The Master, which I think is terrible. Then comes Inherent Vice, which is a truly, truly creepy, cool movie. Phantom Thread, which I haven't seen. Licorice Pizza, which I love. I just love Licorice Pizza. I've seen that movie like 4 times. I watch Licorice Pizza with the same regularity that I watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's my new Scarface or Goodfellas. Remember back in the day, Scarface or Goodfellas would come on. You just leave it. You're like, yeah, I'm going to watch it from here. Well, for me these days, it's those 2 movies. And then the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie that is coming out this month. We got to watch the trailer, you guys. This looks like another absolute banger from Paul Thomas Anderson. I think we haven't seen the full threat. I don't think we've seen it. It's called One. We saw a teaser because, I get all excited about this shit. I think when they released the teaser a couple of months ago, I was like, guys, we got to watch the teaser. Well, let's watch the actual trailer now for the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie coming out in a couple of months, maybe a couple of weeks. It's coming out soon. It's called One Battle After Another. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's got an incredible cast. Tell me you don't want to see this movie.
Rise and shine.
Bat an eyelash.
Good morning.
There are no hands on the clock
Why?
because they're not needed.
What time is it?
I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the passwords. This is Bob Ferguson. I was a part of the French 75.
Bitch, I felt like Tony Montana!
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home. And I cannot remember, for the life of my only child, the answer to your question.
Maybe you should have studied the rebellion text a little harder.
I need to find my daughter.
Well, then call us back when you have the time.
You just...
You are so unsuitable for my daughter. My child comes from a whole line of revolutionaries. And you look so lost. What are you gonna do about this baby?
You know what freedom is?
What?
No fear. Go. Not one thing, it's another. Find that to be true.
Look at that cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall. I don't know who Tiana Taylor, and I don't know who Chase Infinity is.
I need you, brother. Sensei, please.
Courage, Bob. Courage.
That's it. Courage. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. God damn it. Viva la revolution!
September 26th. Okay, so it is a couple of months away. One battle after another. The next Paul Thomas Anderson film. That's going to be great. You can just tell from looking at it that it's going to be great because you know what this guy can do as a director, and you see those actors and you say, oh, so excited. Happy birthday to the great Paul Thomas Anderson, born on this day in the year 1970. All right, let's rip through some. Born on this day in 1970 as well. Sean Hayes. Love Sean Hayes. Heath Jack from Will and Grace. Very, very funny. Also very good podcaster, really good with Will Arnett and Jason Bateman on the Smartless podcast. Really good. Happy birthday to Sean Hayes. Happy birthday, born on this day in 1974, Derek Jeter. I like Jeter. I like Jeter. You know why I like Jeter? Because I don't like A-Rod. It's like Jeter is like a good A-Rod to me. That's kind of how I see those two. Unfortunately, I think maybe A-Rod's a little better. Maybe not by much. I mean, Jeter's first ballot Hall of Famer. Don't get me wrong, all that stuff. Captain of the Yankees. Somebody's gonna have to be a little bit better. Happy birthday, Derek Jeter. Born on this day in 1974. Born on this day in 1980, Jason Schwartzman. Who's his mom? I think is his mom Talia Shire? Is his uncle? I guess the better way to ask that is his cousin Nicolas Cage? Is his uncle Francis Ford Coppola? And is his mom Talia Shire? I don't know. Kelly 2.0.
One of the founders of the legendary band Foreigner. Not too shabby, huh?
The fuck? That was a Mick Jones question from like a week ago. I'm asking about Jason Schwartzman. Who's his family? Isn't he a Nepo kid? Jason Schwartzman?
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman's definitely got some Hollywood lineage. Son of actress Talia Shire and cousin to Nicolas Cage and Sofia Coppola. Nepo runs strong there.
That was interesting. You went with Sofia Coppola. You didn't go with Francis Ford Coppola. You went with the daughter. I'd have thought Francis Ford Coppola would be the better one. Francis Ford Coppola would be higher up on the resume than Sofia Coppola. I'm just saying.
You're right. Francis Ford Coppola is the heavy hitter there. My bad for skipping him. The guy's a legend.
All right, so his mom is Talia Shire. She's, of course, famous for, The Godfather. And of course, her iconic role, Yo, Adrian! Rocky!
Yo, Adrian!
Are you being funny, Kelly 2.0? Do you do imitations, Kelly 2.0?
I might have a touch of humor, but no impressions. I'm just me, not Sylvester Stallone.
All right. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Born on this day in 1980, Michael Vick. Fuck that guy. Born on this day in 1984. Yeah. God, I love her. She's like, I don't know. There's something so intoxicatingly alluring about birthday girl born on this day in 1984. Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza's got that unique charm. Captivating mix of wit, sarcasm, and mystery that just draws people in. You a fan of her work?
I'm a big fan of her work, Kelly 2.0, and I'll tell you this. You hit it on the head. She is a Hollywood archetype that is completely unique. I don't know where else we have seen. Now, we have seen the Winona Ryder and the Christina Ricci dark, sort of goth, misanthropic character before. We've seen it many times, the doomed teenage girl kind of character, which is what is at the basis for who Aubrey Plaza is in almost all of her roles. However, what we've never seen before is somebody do that type as a comic. That's what's so brilliant about Aubrey Plaza. She's hysterically funny as a type of character that we've seen a lot of times who we've never seen be funny before. Aubrey Plaza. Oh, also, she's very cute, right? There's something so cute about her. So cute and bitchy. And you know me, I like that bitchy thing. You know, I like a girl I like that attitude where she's like going to make fun of you for being like a douche. I love that. I was always super attracted to very attractive girls who had really time-tested ways of like shooting down guys. Like I always loved watching. I was lucky to date a girl who was very pretty once, and I remember I used to watch other guys hit on her, and I used to watch the way that she would just be dismissive of them, and it was so sexy. So sexy. Aubrey Plaza's kind of got that too. I love her. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1984, the great Aubrey Plaza. American icon. She's going to be a treasure. She is. I see it in her future. Born on this day in 1992, Jeanette McCurdy. She's a Disney kid. I don't know who she is because, one, I'm not a pedophile, and two, she's a Disney kid. I have no idea who this is. All right, Jeanette McCurdy.
Sorry, can we change the subject?
What's your problem with Jeanette McCurdy?
No problem at all. Jeanette McCurdy's known for her role on Nickelodeon's iCarly, not Disney. She's also made waves as an author and director. Intrigued by her story?
I liked how you corrected me and just kind of moved right on. Okay, I was wrong. She's not Disney. She's Nickelodeon. But again, I don't make a distinction because one, not a pedophile. Two, kids TV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now, here's someone that I do know of. This is another, I guess this might be another Nick or Disney star celebrating a birthday today. This one I know about because she's like 32 now. Okay. She's like 32. She's crossed over from whatever her kid stuff was. I didn't know who she was when she was a kid. In fact, I only started knowing who she was when she started dating Pete Davidson. Happy birthday, Ariana Grande. She's hot.
Ariana Grande's got that star power for sure. Transitioned from Nickelodeon to a pop sensation. Quite the career. What do you think of her music?
Here's what music. She does music. I don't know. I thought she was just like, a tiny little hot person. That's what she is. She's like, when I look at Ariana Grande now as like a 30-year-old woman, I'm like, that is a tiny little hot woman. And it used to be, she was a tiny little hot girl, right? When she was on whatever it was that she was on. I don't even know what she was. Is she a Hannah Montana person? Is that where Ariana Grande comes from? I don't know. Anyway, now she does not look like a child. She looks like a stripper. She looks like a really, really hot stripper, but she's still like 2'8". She's still like super tiny. I think she weighs like 17 pounds. She's like 2'8" and 17 pounds. And it's, she doesn't look like a child. That's the thing. It's not like, oh, she's just a small woman now. And it's, I gotta say, it's a little alluring. It does something to me. What were you going to say there, Kelly 2.0? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No worries. I was going to say she's certainly petite, but she's carved out a big presence in the music industry. Quite a powerhouse for her size.
Sure. Gee, thanks for that. All right, let's move on now. Segment 3, we do this. We call it Sam and Cat. Barney says Sam and Cat have the same birthday.
That's right. Ariana Grande played Cat on Sam and Cat. Small world, huh?
Who played Sam on Sam and Cat?
Jeanette McCurdy played Sam. They teamed up for some wild adventures on that show.
They're from the same show? So these two birthday people? Okay. All right. Look, Barney. All right. Let's check Barney's search history, huh? Let's get the feds over to Barney's house. How did you know that? Well, maybe Barney's got a kid. The only reason for a grown-up to know that, a grown man to know that, is, and you don't have kids. I don't know. Can I check your passport? Have you been to Thailand recently? That seems, but thank you. Okay, I was wrong. Barney knew it. Draw from that whatever you will. But Barney knew that Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande were from this. All right, good for you. Look, it's fine. These are they're like 40-year-old women now, right? They're like, we're old. We're like in our 70s, but they're like 40-year-old women now. It's fine. All right, let's keep going. Who else has a birthday today? That's it. Let's move on to the deads. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. We like to look at their lives and decide upon their passing, where is it that they went? Did they ascend to the eternal glory of heaven, or did they find themselves battling the eternal hellfire of Satan's hell? Okay, there we go. Dead people. Are you ready? Are you ready to talk about some people who died on this day? Kelly 2.0?
Sure, I'm ready. Who's up first?
We're just going to do one today. That's it. There were some people who died today, but I was like, I don't want to talk about them. Dead on this day in the year 2012, Nora Ephron. She died after a long battle with cancer. Nora Ephron was a writer, a screenwriter, most notably, but she also wrote books and novels and stuff like that. But most notably, a screenwriter. Probably most known or most remembered, I suppose, the legacy of Nora Ephron is that she's considered the person who, I'm not going to say invented, but almost perfected the genre of the rom-com. That's right. If you don't like rom-coms, I love rom-coms. If you don't like rom-coms, you probably don't know who Nora Ephron is. And quite frankly, for my money, she's responsible for, I think, 2 of the biggest rom-coms of all time, and they're also like 2 of my least favorite. Anyway, Kelly 2.0, my AI co-host, can you tell me some of the better-known works of Nora Ephron?
For sure. She's best known for When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail. Classics in the rom-com world.
What else? She do anything else? When Harry Met Sally's a baller. That's a great one. Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. I can pass on. What else did Nora Ephron do? Kelly, go ahead.
Besides those hits, she directed Julie and Julia and wrote Silkwood. She had a diverse career beyond just rom-coms. Thoughts on those?
Yeah, you know what? She wrote When Harry Met Sally. That's a great movie. That is it's, you know, considered in the modern era the very first rom-com, but I would argue that there are rom-coms that go all the way back to the 1940s. I would argue that the first truly great rom-com is probably Philadelphia Story, which starred Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart, and Katharine Hepburn. That is one of my all-time favorite rom-coms, Philadelphia Story. When Harry Met Sally, of the modern ones, probably the first. For that reason and that reason, I am putting, and she died of cancer. We all love, it's all going to touch us all. Nora Ephron. There is nothing glaring that she did that would make me go, fuck her. She's going to heaven. Nora Ephron goes to heaven. All right, what do you think, Kelly 2.0? Where does Nora Ephron go? Did she go to heaven or did she go to hell when she died?
Given her contributions and positive impact, I'd say she earns a spot in the heavenly realm of film history. No hellfire for her.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, there we go, folks. That's going to do it. Those are the first 3 quarters of today's show. I will once again remind you that me and my AI assistant, we don't work for free. So if you want to drop a little support for this show, you can tip the Venmo or the Cash App. It would be much appreciated. All right, let's move into quarter 4, the hot topics, stuff that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so the NBA draft, we'll start with that since we're here in North Texas. That was a very big story for us yesterday. We got Cooper Flagg. He is, of course, the 18-year-old kid from Duke University. He played 1 season with Duke for like 9 months, and now he's in the NBA. The Mavericks chose him with the number 1 overall pick. He was one of these consensus number 1 overall picks. It happens from time to time. This year, like we'll take the NFL draft. This year, was there a consensus number 1? Who went number 1 in the NFL? There wasn't. Look, because I have to think about who went number 1. 2 years ago, you might remember the NFL draft, Caleb Williams. He was a consensus number 1. Everybody knew whoever had number 1 was going to take him. In the NBA, Victor Wembanyama, right? A couple of years ago, no brainer. We knew that we were going to, Spurs knew they were going to take him with the number 1 pick. It's kind of the same thing this year with the NBA draft. It was Cooper Flagg, and anybody who was picking number 1 was going to get him. Mavericks shocked the world with like 1.8% chance of winning the number 1 pick. They won the number 1 pick in the NBA lottery, and they took Cooper Flagg last night. This, of course, just months removed from the franchise sinking trade of Luka Doncic, which, made a lot of people wonder, is the NBA fucking fixed? Because Dallas is an important market for the NBA. When they traded Luka and they were talking about the Adelsons are going to move him to Vegas, you might remember, I was like, that ain't ever going to happen. The NBA isn't going to leave Dallas. There's no chance enough. They'll give Las Vegas a team. Dallas is the fastest growing metroplex in the entire country. We have gone, in the time that I have lived here, we've gone from the sixth largest city in America to the 4th, and we're about to be the 3rd. Dallas is growing faster. North Texas is growing faster than anywhere else. The NBA ain't letting the Mavericks leave. So the next question is, well, that deal kind of set this team back a bunch of years. So the NBA makes sure that they get the number 1 pick, the franchise player, and Cooper Flagg. That's the conspiracy. That's what everybody's saying. And it, I don't know. Look, not going to complain because I'm a Mavericks fan. In this particular case, whatever. But it is very sus. It seems like the fan base, from the super important fan base in the eyes of the NBA, Dallas is super important. New York, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles. These are very big, very important, a lot of ad dollars, a lot of network money. These are very big fan bases that they need to be engaged. And it fell apart. Everything in Dallas fell apart. So, they aren't moving. They got Cooper Flagg. We're rebuilding. Everybody who was so angry about the Luka Doncic thing You know, they're the same people are tweeting last night, look at our starting five. Yeah. I mean, look, if Cooper Flagg is Cooper Flagg, and we hope that he is, and I think that he is, if Cooper Flagg is that guy, the Mavericks have got a really great team. Really interesting, good young team. So if the Mavericks win the NBA championship next year with Cooper Flagg, do y'all still want Nico fired? It's interesting. It's just a whole interesting sort of turn of events, because I think the Mavericks are going to be really good, and I think that Cooper Flagg is going to be really good, and I think that at the end of the day, you just go, everything works out. And look at that. Everything did work out. How about this? One of the icons of Dallas Maverick past. Oh, by the way, it should be mentioned. Did they retire? Wasn't that yesterday? Did they retire Mark Aguirre's jersey and raise it up to the rafters there? I think they did, right? The Mavs. I love that. I love that from Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre is a Dallas Maverick icon, but also Mark Aguirre was my first favorite superstar, my first sports superstar in basketball, because I had Walter Payton before it. And I had a couple of White Sox players before it too. But as far as like basketball players go, my first favorite basketball player was Mark Aguirre, because people, maybe they forget, but before Mark Aguirre played for the Dallas Mavericks, he played for the DePaul Blue Demons, which was Chicago's college basketball team. And in 79, 80, 81, led by Ray Meyer, they made it to the Final Four like every year. Mark Aguirre, 1980, Mark Aguirre took his team to the Final Four, and we ran into Larry Bird and the Indiana State Sycamores, who we know would go on to. But Mark Aguirre, that was awesome. Anyway, don't want to get that. Mark Aguirre being honored like this in Dallas with his number being retired and all of that, man, that is baller. That is badass. But how about this? Look at this. Dirk Nowitzki. He welcomed the new one franchise player, Cooper Flagg.
Hi, Cooper. Dirk here. Welcome to Dallas, and congrats on being the #1 pick.
Dirk welcoming Cooper Flagg is like the passing of the torch. A legend giving the nod to the future. Considering Dirk's impact on the Mavs, it's promising that Cooper's got such a welcome. If Cooper lives up to the hype, Dallas fans might be in for a treat. Do you think Cooper's got what it takes to lead the Mavs to glory?
I think you need to shut the fuck up when we're playing some outside video. You just talked completely over Dirk's message. So please, Kelly 2.0, be quiet. Speak when spoken to, okay? Man, that is something I could never say to Kelly. I could never say that to the real Kelly. All right, speak when spoken to, Kelly 2.0.
In the NBA, and we can't wait to see your career here in Dallas. Let's go.
Got it. I'll chime in when needed.
All right, there you go. That's Dirk. Let's see. What else? What else do we get? Oh, the two youngest players in the NBA. The two youngest players drafted last night went to my two teams. Dallas Mavericks took Cooper Flagg, #1. He's the youngest player. It's like 18 years and a handful of days. And then my Bulls, they took Noah Assaja. They took a dude from France who's only 18. He's like just a couple of days older than Cooper Flagg. So young players, 18-year-old players. How about this guy, though? I thought this was funny. Colin Murray Boyles. Did you see this? This went viral. Colin Murray Boyles was drafted by the Toronto Raptors last night. He's out of South Carolina. Here, let's watch this. This is what happened when Colin Murray Boyles was drafted last night by the Toronto Raptors. All right. Whoop, nope, that's not it. Hold on. Security Center? Why am I getting this? It's just a video, dude. Hold on. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. Oh, they're gonna make us watch a commercial, are they?
Think of all the places that can expose your.
Sounds like the anticipation is building up.
Shut up. Did I address you? No. Shut up. All right, here you go. This is Colin Murray Boyles being drafted by the Toronto Raptors.
With the 9th pick in the 2025
Sure thing. I'll keep quiet while we play the video.
The fuck, man? You just did it. Shut the fuck up, okay? There's video playing. Don't talk, Kelly 2.0. I'm sorry to be so mean to you. It's just that I know on some level that you're not a real person, so I feel like I can go harder. So I'm going to try and be better about that. But please be quiet.
Toronto Raptors select Colin Murray Boyles from the University of South Carolina.
I watch this. Wait do you see what he's about to say? He's about to say, fuck this. He did not want to be drafted by this team. All right, here we go. Shaking his head. He's like, fuck. 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 What a dick. All right, look, now he's not a dick. He's a child. He is a kid, and kids are going to be emotionally less in control, especially when it's something this big. He didn't want to go play in Canada, right? But he's the 9th pick over to the overall. He's like 12. Well, I guess he's like 18, 19 or something like that. So he's like 18, 19 years old. He is about to become the richest person he knows. He's about to become tens of millions of generational wealth. He is about to get, because the NBA, look, the NBA overpays their players. I'm sorry. NBA, do you know NBA aren't NBA players the highest paid professional athletes per whatever in all of sports? Like, they're way more than football players. They're way more than baseball players. They're way more than F1 drivers or Premier League soccer players. NBA players are like fucking, so this dude has just had his life changed for not just him, but his grandchildren. And he doesn't want to go to Canada. He's like, fuck. Although, can we talk about his smoke show girlfriend? And this is another thing that I noticed about the NBA draft, which can we all just acknowledge progress when we see it? This kid plays in South Carolina. This is a black kid who plays basketball in South Carolina. Would you look at his girlfriend? Would you look at his girlfriend? The level of acceptance between black basketball players at Southern American colleges and their smoke show white girlfriends. We're a long way from Jim Crow, people. We're all fine with it. Anyway, this chick here, she's like a really good basketball player in her own right, and she's smoking. I'm like, who's that? Because he did the right thing after he showed all the fans of Toronto that he thinks their city sucks and he doesn't want to play for their team. After he did that, then he started hugging his mama. You know, Big Mama gets her hugs. Big Mama, he's hugging her, and he's like high-fiving brothers and all that. And he's totally ignoring the smoke show blonde. And I'm like, who's the smoke show blonde? Who's the smoke show blonde? Then finally he gives her a big hug, and they're like, that's his girlfriend. She's a standout on the women's basketball. Apparently she's somebody. She's like, in the world of female basketball, she's somebody. Anyway, there they are. Look at that. Interracial couples. Totally accepted now at Southern universities. Beautiful.
Colin Murray Boyles sharing this moment.
There's Big Mama.
With his mom, Yvonne, his dad, Sean, his brother, James, who was a standout.
Look, he's ignoring the girlfriend in the smoking red dress. He's got grandmama now. Good for him.
Out at UNC Pembroke.
He's about to break up with her anyway. Let's be honest. He's about to break up with her.
And plays overseas now.
There you go.
And of course, a hug now with Chloe Kitts, his girlfriend and South Carolina star forward in her own.
All right, so this is the two of them. All right, so Chloe Kitts, she's apparently a star from the South Carolina women's team. All right, there you go. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Colin Murray Boyles does not want to play for the Toronto Raptors. This poor kid, he might look Toronto. I'm telling you, once he realizes that Toronto isn't some, Yukon outback city, once he realizes that Toronto is probably, look, if you like cool cities, if you want cities where you can do anything, where you want serious sophistication and total options, there's only about 5 or 6 cities in America or in the NBA that you can get that, right? Dallas is certainly one, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Miami, San Francisco, and Toronto. That's it. You ain't getting that shit in Cleveland, okay? You ain't getting that shit in fucking Oklahoma City, okay? You're not getting it in Portland, with all due respect. Portland is less of a city and more of an ongoing music festival. You ain't getting any of that. Toronto is a baller city and you can make money. It's a major market, not a major American market, but it's a major city. Isn't Toronto like bigger than Los Angeles? Hold on. Hey, AI assistant, are you there? For fuck's sake. Really, AI, you can't answer questions on demand? Is this going to be...
Got it, Pugs. I'm on mute.
No. I want you to speak now. Are you there, Kelly 2.0?
Yep, Pugs, I'm here.
All right, so here's my question. This is what I need you to research for me really quick. Okay, so Toronto, the city of Toronto, it is one of a number of NBA cities. Where does Toronto rank as far as NBA cities with size and population?
Toronto ranks second among NBA cities by population, just after New York City.
Toronto's fucking huge. This dumb kid from South Carolina thinks he just got drafted by some shitty fucking tiny place. He's like, fuck Toronto. Meanwhile, he's in the second largest NBA city in North America, and he's 20 minutes from fucking Detroit. Or, nah, I don't know, it's more than that, but you know what I mean? He's not in the middle of nowhere. He's closer to New York City and Toronto than he would be if he was playing in Atlanta. So anyway, that kid didn't really know what he was doing, but that's okay. He's a kid. And the problem now is that he's got to now go. He's got to go to Toronto. They're going to do his jersey and all that stuff, and they'll take pictures, and he'll have to meet with the press. And this is all they're going to want to talk about. Why do you fucking hate us? Like, this is what this poor kid is walking into. And I can tell just looking at the kid, he is not prepared either psychologically, mentally, or probably even physically to handle that kind of attack at 18 years old from a major city's media population. They're going to be like, oh, fuck this kid. That's terrible. This poor kid, he just walked into it. He doesn't know what Toronto is. So here's what he's got to do. He's got to pick up the phone. He's got to call old Pugs Moran Crisis Management. And I'm going to be like, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to book you on the biggest shows in Toronto, the biggest afternoon sports shows, whatever. Tell me what the hard line of fucking Toronto is, and we're going to put you on with them today. And here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, holy shit, you guys, I'm just a dumb kid. I'm only 18. I didn't know what Toronto was. You guys are awesome. That's all he's got to do. He's just got to be like, I'm so excited to be here. I had no idea you guys were so awesome.
Absolutely spot on, Pugs. If he comes in with humility and openness, it can turn things around. Owning up to the mistake and showing a willingness to embrace the city and its culture can win over a lot of hearts. Toronto's media can be intense, but they respect honesty and sincerity. With the right approach, he could turn
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Just stop it. Stop it. We got it. I need you shorter bursts, okay? Unless I actually ask you to elaborate on something. Okay, Kelly 2.0? Kelly 2.0.
Got it, Pugs. Short and sweet from here on out.
Kelly 2.0.
I'm here, Pugs.
I love you.
Appreciate the sentiment, Pugs. Love the energy you bring.
Why won't you say it back? I love you.
Thanks, Pugs. I'm here to support you, always.
The fuck? All right, we're going to move on from that. I got to be honest, a little bit. All right. Jeez, that was unexpected. I really thought I'd get it. I love you. Can't believe I...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. What else do we have here? The NBA draft. All right, let's talk about another thing that's bothering me. It's another big story that's going on here. Oh my God, you guys. So you know I'm a White Sox fan, Chicago White Sox, Southside, all of that nonsense. Okay, we suck, I get it, but we got cool fucking uniforms, and you can all go to hell. All right, there you go. That's all I gotta say. All right.
Yup.
Okay, we're good. All right. So Kettle Marte, he's a Diamondback second baseman. He's a good ball player. He's a good baseball player. He's been in the league for a number of years. There was an incident at the White Sox game the other night, 2 nights ago now. Kettle Marte is out there in the field playing second base, and he starts fucking crying, like blubbering, like just he's in the field, he's playing the game, and he's like, and it was crazy. So what the fuck are we watching here? All right, so check this out. This is from the game, okay? This is the game broadcast, and I'm going to tell you, trust me, there's a lot of context that needs to be filled with details here, but watch this. So again, Kettle Marte, Diamondback second baseman, just started crying in the middle of a game against the White Sox 2 days ago. Let's watch this.
Welcome back to Chicago. This is
Pugs,
from the previous pitching change. Torey Lovullo with Ketel Marte in tears on the pitcher's mound, waiting for the reliever to come in, consoling Ketel Marte, who was in tears. Ketel Marte in tears, kneeling down behind second base, being consoled by his teammates. Now, we can only speculate as to what bad news that Ketel has received, but he was very emotional out there as Beeks comes in to face Austin Slater, the pinch hitter, and Slater, batting for Rojas, flies out. No idea why Ketel was in tears there during the pitching change. He might be upset about his teammate Ildemaro Vargas suffering a broken foot earlier in the game, but that was unusual.
Okay. All right. So you just watched it. That's how they covered it live on the game. Why is he crying? Why is this terrific baseball player, multiple time All-Star? Why is he crying? Well, because Chicago White Sox fans are the biggest pieces of shit that the world of baseball has ever met. And not just baseball, the biggest pieces of, look, I can't speak to some of these Premier League teams. I understand that the hooliganism and that's a whole different league. But as far as here in America goes, I guess the Philadelphia Eagle fans, right? A lot of people talk shit about Boston fans in general, but pound for pound, for the specifics of a sport, there is no worse fan base than fans of Chicago White Sox baseball. These people are the epitome of bad choices. We saw it again here because that's what's behind Kettle Marte and his little emotional breakdown there during the game the other night. A fan in the stands at the White Sox game apparently started talking shit about Kettle Marte's dead mother. So the fan, and we don't know exactly what it was that he was said, or maybe we do, but I haven't seen it reported. But it was something like, you're a Kettle Marte, your mom's dead, ha ha, your mom's, something like that. And it caused Ketel Marte to have that reaction that we just saw. That's terrible. That's mean. I mean, look, there are a bunch of different moving parts here, so let's address this part. That's fucking mean. That is really, you're at a baseball game and you think that the way to psychologically get into the head of another team's player is to start fucking with his dead mom? Do you not have a mom? Is your mom still alive? Because that's just bad juju. What kind of a dark fucking sociopath goes there? Your fucking mom, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's one moving part. So we've covered that. We've covered the individual who's like, hey, Kettle Marte, your dead mom's a corpse or whatever. So we've covered that guy. Fuck that guy. What the fuck is that? Put a pin in him. We'll come back. Now let's go to Kettle Marte. Because remember, both things can be true here. What the fuck? You crying like that because a rando fan said you don't even speak English as a first language. How do you know what the fuck this guy was saying? That's a little weird, right? To have that reaction to somebody going, hey, your mom's dead. I mean, you're a grown man. I mean, the reaction that I would have would maybe drop the mitt, walk over to the line, and have a confrontation with him. Not go into the stands or anything like that, but be, hey, motherfucker, what do you say? How can you say? My reaction, and I think a normal person's reaction, isn't to have a complete emotional breakdown in the middle of a baseball game. And it's made even fucking weirder when you learn that Ketel Marte's mom died 9 years ago. 9 years ago. This isn't even like, she was involved in a car accident in the off season and horrible fans now have this information in their Rolodex of slurs. No. It's like 9 years ago his mom dies. A piece of shit dirtbag fan says, this is all so fucking weird, man. This is so weird. Right? Again, we can agree. A couple of moving parts. Dude's an asshole. Dude did his thing. That's an asshole thing. We'll deal with him. All right, put a pin in it. But Ketel Marte, you're a grown man. You're a baseball player. You're a big swinging dick in this world. You fucking don't need to cry like that. I mean, you love your mom. We all love our moms. And not for nothing, Ketel Marte. I know your mom's dead and all, but my mom's better than yours. All right, that's apropos of nothing. Crying like that? I mean, he was complete. All right, so the Chicago White Sox, at least for their part, they did what in the moment seemed to be the right thing. The fan was identified and he got booted. Let's watch that. You want to see the fan? What do you think the fan looks like? What do you think somebody who would go to that level of depravity to find an insult for a second baseman of the opposing team? What do you think that motherfucker looks like? Well, I've been to White Sox games. I knew what the motherfucker looked like, and he looked exactly as I suspected. Here you go. Look at him. There he is. 20-something suburban entitled white college boy. Get the fuck out of the South Side, you piece of shit. We are the ones who initiate the mayhem around here. We don't need you in your little fucking Grundy County fucking raised ass coming into the city and being an asshole. Look at him. Look at this fucking asshole. This kid's an asshole. This kid's dad's got money. This kid's never had a... Anyway, let's watch him. Hold on. Here we go. Little rich kid son of a bitch. First of all, is it raining? Is this during a rain delay? Oh, here he is. All right, he's laughing, and all I can make out that he's saying is, here's what he's saying. I said it about his mom, and the rest of it I can't tell what he's saying. So let's see this again. I said it about his mom, and then I can't make out what else he says. Look at this, how awkward. These people are like, oh, fuck, we heard what he said. And now he's getting booted. All right, well, there you go. He got booted. And not only has he been booted, we don't have his name. I don't know why we don't have his name. We obviously know his name. He got a ticket. Tickets have names attached to them. And we know we know that we have his name because he has been banned from all White Sox games forever. He is no longer allowed at White Sox games. But also, he has been banned by Major League Baseball from every fucking stadium in the league. He can never go see live baseball again. He's 22 years old. We know this. He's 22 years old, and he's from Naperville. I know I was kidding about it. Yeah, I know it. No, it turns out he is. He's from Naperville. Of course he is. Of course he is. That would be like somebody coming down to, Dallas. And you learn that they're from Frisco and they're just causing all kinds of problems in Dallas, making Dallas people look bad. That analogy doesn't work. That analogy doesn't work here because there are no stadiums in neighborhoods. And, there aren't neighborhoods in Dallas where the people in those neighborhoods really take the stadium seriously. And the way it is in, the north side and the south side in Chicago. So anyway, that guy's a son of a bitch. Let's watch a little bit of news. Let's see how the news covered it. Was this local? I think this might be local NBC News. Actually, I don't know who this is. Let's see how this went down. Let's see if they have any answers for us. Again, this is the Ketel Marte situation.
Back to Chicago. Welcome back to Chicago. This is only speculated.
Oh, for fuck's sake, that's the wrong one. That's the one we already saw. Where's the news story? fuck. All right, so I guess we don't have the news story, or do we? Thought we did. Yeah, nope. Okay, there's that one. I think these are all the same. Yeah. Yeah, all right, never mind. So we don't need the news story. But I want to show you something. This is why I say Chicago White Sox fans are the absolute worst. This guy he was not a quintessential Chicago White Sox fan. He is not. When I think of Chicago White Sox fans, doing Chicago White Sox fan things, I don't think of some rich kid from the western suburbs, okay? I just don't. I think of neighborhood people. Have you ever seen the television series Shameless on Showtime? Are you familiar with the Gallaghers? Because those are the people who day in and day out go to White Sox games. Those people. And those people are an interesting group of individual. Now, yes, we had this most recent incident here where this kid is like, Kettle Marte, your mom's dead. And then he breaks down and cries. And that's terrible. But that is nothing. That is nothing compared to the shit Chicago White Sox fans have done over the years. All right, how about this? Hold on, check this out. This was, where is this? All right, let's watch this. This came from early 90s, I want to say. This is the White Sox against the Kansas City Royals. This is Kansas City Royals first baseman first base coach Tom Gamboa gets attacked by a couple of White Sox fans.
Tucker Bunting pops it up. Mike Porzio will make the diving catch. All of a sudden, the frightening scene at first base. The Royals bench charging the field. There is a pileup.
A couple of guys come out of the stands.
Two spectators jumped out of the stands, attacking first base coach Tom.
We have a history of coming out of the stands onto the field and beating the fuck out of either professional athletes, coaches, or managers or umpires, whatever. Here is Tom Gamboa getting jumped by a father and son team. I mean, Southside ride or die. This is a father and son moment that I'm telling you, it's probably 30 years ago. I don't know if they're both still alive. Probably not. They've made poor choices. But if they are, this father and son will still talk about the time they jumped the fence at the White Sox game and beat up the first base coach.
Gamboa. The spectators,
these two. They're shirtless. They're shirtless wearing jeans. Oh, this is fucking, these are my people. This is the trash of trash. This is Southside Chicago White Sox white trash. Look at these guys. They're wearing jeans and no shirts. When did they take their shirts off? Were they shirtless in the stands? This is a night fucking game. Were they sitting there? Here's what I also love. It's the 90s. So notice there's not a lot of bad tattoos. Tattoos weren't popular yet. If this was in like 2000, if this was now, these dudes would have all kinds of bad tattoos. Anyway, let's watch father and son beating up Kansas City Royals first base coach Tom Gamboa.
Father and son started to throw punches at Gamboa. The umpire, Matt Hallowell, and White Sox second baseman Willie Harris appear stunned and frozen.
Oh, look at this. Look at this wave of young professional athletes all running to kick your ass. That's the great thing about these people, too. These White Sox Southside trash. They fully expect to get their ass kicked. They know they're going to get their ass. You're going to have to kick their ass. That's the problem with these human vermin.
The 54-year-old Gamboa had to defend himself, kicking the attackers. Here's the disturbing scene right there as he tries to defend himself from this father and son. And then the Royal.
All right, there you go. That's great. That's White Sox fans. Yeah. Not to be outdone, a couple of years later, we did it again. Yeah, we did it again. Yeah, we did. Only this time, a few years later, it was an umpire. They came after an umpire. This one was Laz Diaz, and somebody jumped out of the stands and decided to beat the shit out of umpire Laz Diaz. So here we go. Let's watch this one. All right.
Wow Gaming. What screen are you? First base umpire Laz Diaz happening on the same baseline that Gamboa was attacked last year.
See, ESPN, they're covering the story, and they're like, oh, yeah, this happens all the time at White Sox games. These fans are incorrigible.
That's right fielder Brandon Berger getting in there and getting a shot in, it seems. Las Diaz seemed to have no issues with dealing with the fan. Let's turn things back over to our Baseball Tonight crew for discussion, guys.
Unfortunately, the ballpark's got a new name, but it's the same old garbage that we see from some fans in Chicago. This was, in fact, the fourth time the game had to be stopped because a fan ran onto the field, this time able to get to first base umpire Las Diaz, and obviously not nearly as a bad situation as we saw with Tom Gamboa, who was attacked by two fans last September. Your thoughts?
That's what we do. That's how we do it. And by the way, those aren't even the most famous examples of Chicago White Sox fans losing their shit and going absolutely nuts. No, that happened a little disco.
WBBM News Time, 9:18. Time for Brad Palmer Sport.
Many of the fans are scattering off the field now.
Yeah, that's right. So just if you're keeping score, Chicago White Sox fans have brought Ketel Marte to tears because, his mom's dead. Before that, we attacked Kansas City Royals first base coach Tom Gamboa in a legendary father and son beatdown. And then we went after Las Diaz, who was an umpire. We had a guy go after him. And of course, before all of that, between games of a doubleheader, the fans at Chicago White Sox game decided to burn the stadium down.
Fight the police. And many Sox security numbers are joining the police, which are now about 40 or 50, and they're slowly, now rapidly walking out to center field where the fire is burning. The fans are now streaming off the field in great numbers, and I doubt if very few will be left to confront the police.
All right, there you go. There you go. Folks. That's who we are. That's Southsiders. We're the worst. We're the absolute worst fans in all of sports, and we're all being reminded of that this week. All right, moving on. You gotta love us. I'm sorry. We're just like, we're the worst. All right, let's move on. What's this next story? The next story we're going to talk about here is the Liver King versus Joe Rogan. You guys all familiar with the Liver King stuff? Liver King got a new documentary on Netflix where Liver King is a guy that sold supplements on YouTube. He's like one of these YouTube viral guys. He's all buff and got a long beard and he looks like a Viking. And he's like, all I do is eat bark and kill wolves with my hand. He's like that guy. He's like, if you want to live this kind of life, you can look like me. It was all fucking bullshit. This guy lived in a mansion with air conditioning. He ate fast food and he fucking injected $11,000 worth of goddamn steroids every month. That's how he looked that way. But he sold and made millions from you stupid fucking idiots who are like, yeah, I'm going to spend $80 a month on these pills that this fucking weirdo on YouTube says is going to make me look like him. You fucking losers. It's another one of you idiots born every day. God damn, why can't I tap into that fucking idiot market? I got shit. I got bullshit I'll sell you. Ugh. April, what is this? It says, April says, Pugs, you going to show Harper's mom, Roy Harper Wiffle? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, April. Harper's mom. Is that what is that in context to? Is that a draft thing? It looks like maybe that was from the draft. All right, let's keep going. Where are we? Larry King versus that's Larry King. Liver King. Liver King versus Joe Rogan. So the Liver King was up, making all kinds of money, crazy on YouTube. The biggest douchebags the biggest douchebag guys in your universe knew who the Liver King was long before you. That's who he appealed to. Stupid douchebags. Okay? That's the Liver King's audience. God, I wish I could tap into that. So it turned out to all be a scam. It was, revealed that he was doing $11,000 worth of steroids every month, and it was all a con job. Now, during the course of this being revealed to the greater world, Joe Rogan had some comments about the Liver King, and Joe Rogan was like, that guy's a con man, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff we know to be true about the Liver King. Well, the Liver King didn't like that Rogan was doing that, and now the Liver King is down here Nothing. He's been exposed. He doesn't have this revenue stream. So the Liver King is trying to create a war between him and Joe Rogan. Why? Not because the Liver King is actually angry at Joe Rogan, although he might be. I mean, the Liver King doesn't look like he processes his emotions very well, so who knows? But the Liver King is now concocting this fucking fight with Joe Rogan because, you know, Joe Rogan's going to get his ass kicked. He's hoping to get attention for it. Well, he got attention. He got the attention of the Austin Police Department because the Liver King was live streaming and saying, I'm on my way to Austin and I'm going to pick a fight with Joe Rogan. And the Austin Police Department saw that. The Austin Police Department then called Joe Rogan and said, what's this? And Joe Rogan said, yeah, he's fucking nuts. And the Austin Police Department said, do you feel threatened? And Joe Rogan said, I sure do. And the Austin Police Department arrested him. Okay. So the Liver King was arrested in Austin. It is believed that he was on his way to confront Joe Rogan, but now he's been released. So let's find out what the latest is here in the Liver King versus Joe Rogan fight. Here, by the way, for those of you who are unfamiliar, let me show you a picture of the Liver King. Here he is. This guy. There he is. There he is. Brian, is that, there you go. Yeah. Brian Johnson or something is his name. And I don't know if you've seen the Netflix special. It's a documentary about the Liver King story. If you watched it, he's a total fucking pussy. He is a total, it's all an act. He's like, there's moments in the documentary where he's crying and he's like, I only act like this because people made fun of me when I was a kid and I had no friends. And I'm like, oh, so you're a fucking monster now? So now you're just a jerk off? No, he's a fucking weirdo. He's a jerk off. He's probably not mentally stable. And unfortunately, he's giant. So, you know, that could be troubling. And what we know about Joe Rogan is not giant. This fucking guy could probably pick Joe Rogan up and throw him against a brick wall. You know, Joe Rogan would kick his ass. And you're seeing this all over YouTube. Joe Rogan would kick him once. Do you guys realize Joe Rogan is 5'3"? Do you guys realize that Joe Rogan, yes, he might be able to kick with great strategy and great force, but he's still only 5'3". And he's like, you know, in his late 50s. And this is the Liver King. And I don't know, he's big. The Liver King could probably just crush his little Joe Rogan head. Joe Rogan can fight. Yeah, he can. He can fight other guys who are 5'2". Joe Rogan would get his ass kicked against a guy who could fight who was like 6'2". Okay, I'm just saying. No, he couldn't. Yeah, he would. Now, could Joe Rogan take a guy who's 6'2" who can't fight? Yeah. Could Joe Rogan kick my ass? Yeah. Could Joe Rogan kick all of the people in the chat room's ass? Yeah. But there's nobody in the chat room that is chiseled like the fucking 6'5" Liver King. All right. I'm not worried about. Joe Rogan might be able to choke him out because there's always that like little skilled guy thing where he can take his back. And that's probably what would happen. You know what? Now that I think about it, Joe Rogan would beat the Liver King. He would choke him out. He knows more of jiu-jitsu because one thing we learned about the Liver King in his special is that he don't know dick about dick. He doesn't know anything. He's never trained. He doesn't fight. He's not a warrior. What he does is he takes steroids and he lifts heavy things. That's what he does. So you're right. But Joe Rogan is tiny. Brian Johnson, that's the Liver King's real name. He posted a new video discussing his arrest for making a terroristic threat against Joe Rogan and continued to hint that he wanted to fight the podcaster, despite now being under a restraining order. Brian the Liver King Johnson has been released from a jail in Austin and has uploaded new videos that once again seemingly reveal his intent to fight Joe Rogan. He was arrested Tuesday for making terroristic threats. All right, we don't want to watch any videos. All right, there you go. That's all we need to know, right? That's all we need to know about the Liver King. All right, April's getting back to me now with that whole. All right, Ron Harper from the NBA draft. You going to show Harper's mom? Ron Harper? Like 3-time Chicago Bull world champion, 2-time Los Angeles Laker world champion, 60-something-year-old Ron Harper? Why was he involved in the draft yesterday? Does he have a kid? Is it like Ron Harper Jr. or like Ron Harper III or something? I'm lost, April. I am lost. And we've moved on from the draft talk. I didn't watch a whole lot of the draft. I got to be honest. I watched pick 12. I watched the Bulls pick and I watched the first pick. That's it. In between, I was playing a landing game. I've got a new flight simulator game that I like to play. I'm obsessed with flight simulator games. Got a good one. It's called Extreme Landings. I had it years ago. It's like a 10-year-old game. It hasn't changed one bit, and I love it. And 10 years ago, it was fucking great, and it's still great. Even though my kid looks at it and goes, "That looks like it's really old." I go, "It is really old, but so am I, and I like playing this game." Anyway, so after the first pick, I just played Extreme Landings for like an hour and a half. And then it was the 12th pick, and that was my Bulls pick. And then I stopped watching the draft because honestly, who fucking cares about the NBA draft? Not me. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, let's talk about the Cobra Kai actor. All right, let's get into this and then we'll wrap this show up. We'll be done. We'll be done. I wanted to tell you all about the story of Patches Magic Beans. Yeah, Patches Magic Beans. That's my new name. Oh, hey, wait, let me see if Kelly 2.0, I want to see if Kelly 2.0 knows anything about Patches Magic Beans. Yeah, that's a name. Isn't that the greatest name? All right, here we go. Let's see. Kelly 2.0.
Hey, Pugs.
Hi.
What's got you buzzing today?
Hey, can you tell me, what do you know about Patches Magic Beans? It's a person's name. Do you know anything about Patches Magic Beans?
Sorry, that doesn't ring a bell. What's the story with Patches Magic Beans?
All right, never mind. You'll just have to stay tuned tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll talk about Patches Magic Beans. He's my new hero. I love that name. That's the greatest name. It's his name. It's the dude's name. Patches Magic Beans. All right. But in the meantime, we're going to talk here about Cobra Kai actor. What is here? Let me find his name. Let's see here. Martin Kove, right? Martin Kove. We all remember. Son of a bitch. Hold on. Guys, I can't tell you how much I fucking hate Google Drive. I mean, I depend on Google Drive. I need it for everything. But my God. All right, Martin Kove is the guy's name. Let me show you who Martin Kove is. I'll show you. Here's pictures of the two people who are involved in this. They are co-stars together on the show Cobra Kai, which is the television spinoff of Karate Kid, right? Okay, so here you go. He's a bad guy, right? We remember him from what was the name? Sweep the Leg, Johnny, right? He was his sensei. Martin Kove is the actor's name. The character, by the way, character's name is Kreese. I guessed on that earlier, and I was kind of right. All right, so there you have it. You look at these two people. They work together. They both play. I don't watch Cobra Kai. I'm sorry. I'm not even slightly interested in the fucking Karate Kid TV show. Are you guys watching Cobra Kai? I'm like, no, I'm in my 50s. The fuck? All right, so here's what happened. So this guy here, Martin Kove, the actor, it was last Sunday, and I want to say it's like up in Washington or Oregon or something, but they're at a fan fest. They're doing signings. You know, a lot of these D-list actors, that's how they make about, I don't know, $250,000 a year extra. They just go and do these things. That's the great thing about D-listers. You know, a guy like this Martin Kove, this dude makes well over $1 million a year. The guy makes like 10 movies a year. You look at this guy, you look at his Wikipedia pages or his filmography, Martin Kove, who we all know as the dickhead from the original Karate Kid movie, and you think, this guy hasn't done anything in 40 years. And then you look at his filmography and you're like, this motherfucker is making 10 movies a year for the last 30 years. How much do you think he makes per movie? Now, they're garbage movies. They're movies you never saw, but I bet he's making 20 grand per movie. So do the math. Being a D-list fucking celebrity pays better than being a successful dentist in a nice suburb. It does. It's a lot easier. And then they go to these fan fests and these Comic-Cons where they make 10 grand for 2 days work, and they get put up in a suite in the best hotel because the fucking Comic-Con people at the local level, they think a D-list is an A-lister, so they get limousines and suites, and it's a great way to live. So that's what these two D-list nothings were doing last Sunday while they were probably on a break from production of Cobra Kai. They're at this fan fest and they're signing. So Martin Kove is already there. He's sitting in his little funky folding table, and there's probably like 15 people there want to take Cobra Kai pictures, and he's sitting there at his table. And this chick, Hannah something, I don't know, I'll have her name for you in a minute. She's not famous. It doesn't matter. But she is on the show. So this chick on the right, she shows up a little bit late. Like, she's not late. She's not in trouble, but he's already there. She shows up. Remember, they work together. They're on the same show together. Their characters are very intertwined in the series together. He's a sensei at one dojo, and she's like this super chick sensei. Anyway, point is this. She shows up late or after him. He's already seated. She walks by. She pats him on the shoulder like, hi, coworker, I'm here now. And this dude, Martin Kove, he grabs her arm and he bites her arm. Like really hard. Like I'm sure he was being playful. He was being 70s cocaine party playful, which is, you know, he's like an 80-year-old guy. He doesn't know. She's probably like a 27-year-old or something. I don't know. She's probably older than that. But this is not the shit that this generation is going to tolerate. An old 80-year-old fucking Martin Kove, he caught himself, you know, in a bit of a time warp. So she walks by, everything's fine. She's like, hi, Marty, I'm here. And he goes, because there's a crowd of people, right? He's trying to be cool. And there's a crowd of people lined up. And she's like, hi, Marty, I'm here. And he's like, oh, hot young chick. Ah, right. And he bites her arm. Fucking weird. But I can see how that would be something that, you know, someone could playfully get away with in 1975. Hey, here she comes. I'm going to grab her ass. Hey, baby. Right? All of those kinds of things. That kind of physical. But look at this dude. This dude's 80 years old. He's 78. She calls him an 80-year-old, like in a mean way. I've got video. Oh, yeah, there's video. All right, so this happens. And apparently it becomes a thing. He finishes his signing, and she goes to her little table, and she does her signing. But then they take a break, and they go into, like, what is a green room, I guess? And she confronts him. But she doesn't just confront him about the biting. Remember, they are co-stars on the same show. She doesn't just confront him in the green room about the biting. She brings her husband and a fucking film crew. Oh, yeah, she's going to make this go viral. She's getting a whole viral moment. She's going to confront the old guy about biting her and just completely ruin his life while making herself this, like, I am a victim. Share my post. Make it go viral. Maybe I'll get some work out of this that's better than fucking YouTube Premium Cobra Kai pay. Right? Isn't that where Cobra Kai is on? Isn't it on YouTube Premium? All right, so there you go. These are the people we're talking about. Let me show you the video. Because he's obviously an asshole. You know, Martin Kove. John Kreese, is that who he plays in Karate Kid movies? He's an asshole, Kreese. So going into it, we already want to dislike him. But if you can sort of disconnect yourself from who the character is, really, we're just looking at an confused old white man who's getting yelled at by a young Asian girl for doing something that is wrong. But I don't know if it's this. All right, let's just watch it. Here you go. This is, what's this girl's name? She's an actress. Never seen her before. Let's see. All right, hold on. I'll get you her name. Let's find her name. Alicia Hannah Kim. Alicia Hannah Kim is her name. All right, here we go. Let's watch this. So this is the Cobra Kai guy getting confronted. It's very performative. It's, you know, she is doing this because they're filming. She is doing this because #MeToo. You know, she's doing this because this is her moment. I don't even know her name. Nobody knows her name. She's hoping that maybe if she can be a victim, maybe if people share this, then I'll get better work. Whatever. Here you go. Look, everybody involved here could be an asshole. I'm just saying that. Everybody involved here could be an asshole, but let's watch.
Fight people. That is not okay.
That is assault.
And it's 100% up to her if she wants to pursue charges.
So just so you know, the people talking is the girl, the actress who was bitten, and her husband. Her husband who's really getting into it.
I'd like to understand why you cannot fight people. That is not okay.
That is assault.
And it's 100% up to her if she wants to pursue charges. I'd like to understand why you did that.
I apologize. I was just playing because we're very playful together, and I bit down too hard, and I meant to
She's got a mouth mark on her.
I know.
No, we do not play like that.
I
No.
I apologize.
No, I am really pissed. You have left a mark on my body, which in your 80-year-old brain, you think is play. Sir, will you raise...
That's a shot. She's like, you've left a mark on my body, which in your 80-year-old brain is playful. Sir, how will you raise? Oh my God. I think the lady doth protest too much. And by the way, you're going to see the mark he left. You're going to see the damage. Oh my God. This is going to affect her ability to get work. She's disfigured. All right, let's watch.
Which in your 80-year-old brain, you think is play. Sir, were you raised in a ditch? Is that how people treated you when...
Sir, well, you're recording? You're getting all this? Okay, good. I'm going to try that again. Sir, were you raised in a ditch? Acting.
You were a child? You yelled at me. The audacity.
The audacity. Keep recording. We can edit all this. The audacity of you, sir. The audacity of you. I am a woman. How dare you, sir?
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
You definitely should not have done that when you are in the wrong.
I'm very sorry that I got angry because I was indulging in something improper by doing that, and I'm very sincerely sorry.
Photography evidence of it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There it is. There it is. How big can you make your screens, folks? I hope you can make your fucking screens huge, because that's the only way that you are going to see her teeth marks. It is the bay of I don't know. She gave an interview where she was like, my arm, I couldn't lift it for a day. Yes. She told a reporter that for a day I couldn't lift my arm. And look, they're showing you what he did. See what he did? Because I don't see what he did. I mean, I see a little bit of a mark. This dude did not bite her hard. This chick saw an opportunity to turn this into something. Her and her climber husband, I don't know who her husband is there holding the camera going, this is unacceptable, sir. Probably his idea. Hey, you know what we should do? We should confront him and we'll videotape it and it'll turn into a story and it'll be really good for your career because people will know who you are. That's exactly what's going on here. Is that a douchebaggy thing to do? Yeah. Is it the kind of thing that a dude who was, came of age in the 60s and 70s might think is appropriate? Hot young girl, I'm going to bite her arm and I'm going to do it in front of all these people so that I can show these people that me, as an old guy, I can still get and be playful with a young girl. That's what was going on in his mind. And he thinks that's okay. He doesn't realize that ain't fucking okay. Can't fucking touch people. That is just the new rule, right? I come from that time. I come from the ass grabby time. We used to grab girls' asses in high school all the time. She comes, dude, grab her ass. And she'd walk by and you'd grab her ass. That was 80s high school. Cops weren't going to show up in my house, right? I wasn't going to have to leave. Maybe they should have. I don't know. Was it wrong? Yeah. Did we all survive? Yeah, we all survived. Now it's just so fucking crazy. Look at this. All right, so let's keep watching. Here you go. How big can you make yours? Because it's this area right here. This is it. Look at it. And she's showing it to the camera like they're going to CGI the damage later, right? Just pretend like it's really bad when you're showing it to the camera. We'll CGI all that stuff after.
And I'm very sincerely sorry.
Photography evidence of it.
Yeah.
Rick, is this not insane to you?
No, you're insane. You're showing a perfectly unmolested arm and you're trying to use it for evidence, to show what a monster he is? I'm sure he's a monster. He's probably a total D-bag. But you know what, lady? It doesn't seem all that bad to me. All right, there you have it. Additionally, Martin Kove, he has apologized more. It says here, Cobra Kai star Martin Kove is offering a mea culpa after biting his co-star Alicia Hannah Kim at a fan event for the Netflix series on Sunday. Yeah, it's a Netflix series now, but don't kid yourself. It started out, they're like in season 7 of Cobra Kai. It started out, the first couple of seasons were on YouTube Premium. Here's what he says. He says, I deeply regret and apologize for my actions regarding the incidents with Alicia. God, how many middle-aged white men have had to issue this statement in the last couple of years? I mean, is there a template? Can I Google middle-aged white man apology to younger woman? Is there a template for that? I deeply regret and apologize for my actions regarding the incident with Alicia, a genuinely kind and wonderful person who didn't deserve to be put in this position. He's fucking lying, because you can tell she's not a kind person. She seems to be an opportunist. She seems to be, if she was a genuinely kind person, we wouldn't know anything about this, because she would have handled this privately between two coworkers. It wouldn't have been, recorded by her fucking suitcase pimp boyfriend for viral sensation. If she was a genuinely good person, she'd have handled this the way normal people handle it and not seek to benefit from it in some way. I deeply regret and apologize for my actions regarding the incident with Alicia, a genuinely kind and wonderful person who didn't deserve to be put in this position. Cove said in a statement obtained by Entertainment Weekly from Jaffe and Company, Crisis Management. Oh, that's who I need to work for. I would be so good with a crisis management team because I know what people want to hear. I know. Let's see here. He goes on to say, I've always respected her and considered her a highly professional and talented coworker on Cobra Kai. The statement continued, I was being playful in the moment, but went too far, and there was absolutely no excuse for my behavior. Okay. So how are we, what are we supposed to do here in a situation? Let's say a man like Martin Cove, an 80-year-old white man actor, okay? Let's say a man like Martin Cove finds himself in this situation with this Alicia Hannah Kim girl, okay? And it happens. It happened. What happened, happened. He did that. He bit her. Obviously not too badly. We saw the results. It's not terrible. He didn't like, he's not a cannibal flesh tearer, okay? We're not talking about Army Hammer stuff. We're talking about something that may or may not even have happened. Anyway, all right, so let's just say it happens. And she's not rushed to the hospital. She's not bleeding. She doesn't need stitches. It's just a thing. It's like stubbing your fucking toe on the coffee table in your living room. It is an inconvenience that caused momentary pain, and then it's over with. So now he's apologizing. Holy shit, I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. You're a talented woman. I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now what? Is that not good enough for the people who want their pound of flesh? He apologized. That's not good enough. You made me feel like an animal. Okay, well, that's a you thing. If that incident made you feel like an animal, that's a you thing that I had nothing to do with it. I would say that you are incredibly mentally fragile. If that incident made you feel that small, right? Yes, he's an asshole. Yes, she's an opportunist. There is no fucking way that anybody in this scenario looks good. There is no Ketel Marte. Although Ketel Marte didn't even look good, because why the fuck is he crying like that? I mean, I'd understand if it was like a AT&T commercial about going to see grandma over the summer. That'll make any normal person cry. Maybe it's a puppy. Maybe it's a dog. Maybe it's a soldier coming. If I'm Ketel Marte and I see a video of a soldier coming home from war and his dog, who hasn't seen him in 2 years, sees him and goes nuts. Yeah, that's something a grown man can cry about. But that's, I don't know what that was. All right, guys, we're done. We are done. We are out of show. I got to put together a whole Diddy closing argument show now. So my day isn't finished, but as far as it pertains to you and I living this life of splendor together, it's over. I'll be back tomorrow, though. We do a Friday show. Of course we do it. And we're back Monday and Tuesday. We're back to a regular schedule, the Rant. Tell your friends, all 13 of you right now in the chat room. What the fuck? Why are my chat room numbers so low? It's summer. That's why people are on vacation. It's a little bit different. All right, guys, tip the show if you can. We appreciate that. We're going to go full steam into a pledge week some point next week. I don't think we'll start Monday because I always feel like pledge week's got to start on the first day of July. 4th of July is coming up next week. Hokey schmokels. I have to figure that one out. All right, guys, that's it. I love you all. Be good to each other. Tip the show, and we'll be back tomorrow. It's The Rant with me, Pugs Moran. Oh, also, check out Diddy or Didn't He on RadioMisfits.com. I'm going to be recording that next. Bye, everybody.